Mark Driscoll is a prominent figure in modern evangelical Christianity, known for his dynamic preaching and leadership, which have significantly influenced contemporary church movements. His ministry has particularly resonated with younger audiences, addressing real-life issues such as masculinity, marriage, and cultural engagement. However, his legacy is also marked by controversy, including accusations regarding his leadership style, theological positions, and the eventual collapse of Mars Hill Church, which he founded and led for nearly 2 decades. Born on October 11, 1970, in Grand Forks, North Dakota, Driscoll grew up in a working-class Roman Catholic family. His early years were shaped by a traditional religious environment, but his personal faith took a dramatic turn in his late teens when he embraced evangelical Christianity. This conversion was pivotal, igniting a passion for the Bible, theology, and ministry that would guide his future work. Following his conversion, Driscoll's dedication to his faith prompted him to pursue formal education, laying the foundation for his influential ministry. Mark Driscoll attended Washington State University, where he earned a degree in communication. This choice significantly shaped his future ministry, honing his ability to connect with people both from the pulpit and in personal settings. His skill in clearly and persuasively communicating ideas would become a hallmark of his. After completing his undergraduate studies, Driscoll continued his theological education at Western Seminary in Portland, Oregon. This period was crucial for his spiritual and intellectual development. Known for its emphasis on biblical inerrancy and Reformed theology, Western Seminary provided him with a strong theological foundation. His time there deepened his commitment to Orthodox Christian doctrine while equipping him to engage with contemporary cultural issues through a biblical lens. In 1996, Driscoll co-founded Mars Hill Church in Seattle, Washington, a move that propelled him into national prominence within evangelical circles. Under his bold and dynamic leadership, Mars Hill rapidly grew from a small Bible study group into one of the largest and most influential megachurches in the United States. Driscoll's unapologetic preaching style and willingness to address controversial topics made him a polarizing figure. He was celebrated by many for his authenticity, while drawing criticism from others for his confrontational approach. His preaching style. Mars Hill began as an informal gathering aimed at reaching Seattle's postmodern, secular culture. At the time, Seattle was recognized for its progressive demographics, and Driscoll was eager to engage with this largely secular audience. His vision for Mars Hill was to create a culturally relevant church that directly addressed people's real-life issues while remaining steadfastly committed to biblical authority. He sought to plant a church that would resonate with young adults, particularly those searching for answers in a rapidly changing world. Those feeling disconnected from traditional church settings found a welcoming community at Mars Hill. The church's growth was remarkable. By the early 2000s, it had expanded to multiple campuses throughout the Seattle area, drawing thousands of attendees each week. Driscoll's preaching, characterized by raw authenticity and directness, resonated with individuals seeking a church that addressed the complexities of modern life. Unlike many other megachurch pastors, Driscoll boldly tackled difficult topics such as sexuality, marriage, gender roles, and cultural trends, all while maintaining a strong commitment to Reformed theology. A key factor in Mars Hill's rapid expansion was its innovative use of technology and media. Driscoll and his team were early adopters of online sermon distribution, leveraging the internet to reach a global audience. His sermons were widely downloaded, making Mars Hill one of the first churches to effectively utilize digital media to extend its influence. The church's message combined traditional evangelical doctrine with a contemporary, culturally relevant presentation, resonating with a broad audience both in the United States and internationally.
Driscoll's unique preaching style, often described as bold, unapologetic, and confrontational, did not shy away from controversial subjects. Rather, he actively sought them out. He spoke openly about issues like sexual ethics and gender roles, framing these discussions within a biblical worldview that was both conservative in its theology and modern in its approach. His sermons were marked by humor, cultural references, and a straightforward tone, appealing particularly to young adults, especially men who felt that traditional church settings were too formal or disconnected from their everyday experiences. A recurring theme in Driscoll's messages was the importance of biblical masculinity. He called on men to take leadership roles in their homes, churches, and communities, based on his interpretation of biblical teachings on gender roles. This focus resonated with many men who felt marginalized in a culture that seemed to de-emphasize their roles. However, it also attracted criticism, with some accusing Driscoll of promoting a hyper-masculine and authoritarian model of leadership that marginalized women and stifled dissent. A recurring theme in Driscoll's messages was the importance of biblical masculinity. He called on men to take leadership roles in their homes, churches, and communities, based on his interpretation of biblical teachings on gender roles. This focus resonated with many men who felt marginalized in a culture that seemed to de-emphasize their roles. However, it also attracted criticism, with some accusing Driscoll of promoting a hyper-masculine and authoritarian model of leadership that marginalized women and stifled dissent. Despite these controversies, Driscoll's sermons gained widespread popularity. His ability to engage with cultural issues from a biblical perspective made him a sought-after speaker and a key figure in the evangelical world. Mars Hill became a hub for young Christians, particularly in urban settings, drawn to the church's blend of doctrinal orthodoxy and cultural relevance. In 2000, Driscoll co-founded the Acts 29 Church Planting Network, aimed at planting new churches in urban and secular contexts where traditional evangelical churches often struggled. Acts 29 quickly gained momentum, becoming one of the most influential church planting organizations in the world, helping to establish hundreds of churches globally, particularly in major cities facing cultural challenges to Christianity. Driscoll's leadership within Acts 29 further solidified his reputation as a visionary leader in evangelicalism, particularly in church multiplication. As a prolific author, Driscoll has written numerous books that have significantly impacted both the evangelical community and the broader Christian audience. His works, like his sermons, are characterized by directness, theological depth, and cultural relevance. In 2006, he published Confessions of a Reformation Rev. Hard Lessons from an Emerging Missional Church, offering an insider's perspective on the founding and growth of Mars Hill. This autobiographical work candidly shares the challenges and successes he faced as the church's lead pastor, serving as both a memoir and a leadership manual. In 2012, Driscoll co-authored Real Marriage: The Truth About Sex, Friendship, and Life Together with his wife, Grace. The book addresses marital challenges, offering biblical advice on communication, intimacy, and conflict resolution. Its candid discussion of sex and gender roles set it apart from other Christian marriage books, though it attracted criticism for Driscoll's emphasis on male leadership within marriage.